What is up, everybody? What's going on? Welcome to Filling in the Gaps. Shout out to the Circle Gang in the house. What's up, everybody? Let me give a shout out to everybody that's here hanging out right now. Uh, UH5JG, what's going on? Jad's in the house, and then I rock. Valerie Ville is here. Is it Valerie Verv? Valerie Verville. Sorry, I can't speak right now. Ardeka Rose is here. Eileen, the Honey Doll, Marissa. Who else is here? Storm, Innocent Killer. Dubs is in the house. Eileen, Bean Baby's here. Okay, we got a few people in the house. Okay. Oh shoot! Shout out to Mark the Shark, who just became a member of the inner circle. What's going on, Shark fam? What's up? What's up? Whew. All right, you guys. What is on the agenda today? So, as you guys can tell by the title of the video, we're basically going to be talking about Neo and the potential of his side or people on his side actually speaking out. Um, but before we get into that, I kind of want to take us back a few years ago, roughly about 20 years ago to be exact. And I want to talk about a case maybe some of you guys may remember, maybe not. You said my voice is a little low. Okay, so I'm going to turn it up just like this. Is this good for you guys? Got to turn my headphones down and then the volume up. Is it just you? I don't know. You tell me. All right. Let me know, you guys. Hold on. Let me increase something on my microphone. Is it low? Damn. Okay. Hold on. Did I have my thing like all the way up? All right. Cool. Sorry, y'all. It's hot. It's hot in here. I don't know. For some reason, it's hot in the studio. So, anyways, we're gonna talk about a case that happened nearly 20 years ago, and it's a case on Trenton Duckett. Right. This is a case where Trenton still remains missing till this day, and this case is still considered open and active. So this case took place out of Leesburg, in Florida. So just to kind of catch you guys up, on August 27, 2006, Melinda Duckett reported that her 2-year-old son Trenton had been kidnapped from his bedroom in their Leesburg apartment. She told investigators that she found his bedroom window open and there was a screen cut. So I just want to take you guys back to this case, right? Because believe it or not, this case is still open. Trenton has not been found. And the weird part about this is that the mother, Melinda Duckett, actually committed suicide, right? So I want to take you back because there were talks that Nancy Grace was held responsible for leading this mother to commit suicide. So I kind of want to take us back and kind of review this case, and I'll kind of tie things together. So then that way you guys kind of understand why we're talking about this. So I want to show you guys a video. This is a video from a couple of years ago. This one says 12 years ago, but let me just kind of get into it, okay? Let me see. Maybe we'll start with this one. So it says here, this is a video from WESH Channel 2 News. So here, let's go ahead and watch this video first.
New claims from CNN.
Okay, and just by the way, this video is really low. The quality of this is really low on YouTube. So I'm going to ask you guys just to turn your volumes up all the way, and I'm going to do the same for mine. But there's nothing I can do about the sound quality, okay? Let me just play it.
Nancy Grace. She now says that the mother of missing toddler Trenton Duckett prepped for her TV interview and wasn't caught off guard at all. Duckett's estate is suing Grace, accusing her of driving Melinda to suicide. West 2's Gail Pasco-Brown is live in the newsroom with the late-breaking details. Gail?
Well, Jim, as you mentioned in the family's lawsuit, they contend Melinda Duckett was ambushed and pushed over the edge on the Nancy Grace show back in 2006. Now, this motion, this particular exhibit, says that Trenton Duckett's mother had prepared responses to questions, ranging from her interaction with local law enforcement to taking the polygraph. The documents recovered by then lead investigator Leesburg Police Detective Richard Giles includes information from Melinda Duckett's laptop and scripted responses for the Nancy Grace interview. According to the court records, the talking points, which say, from a mother's point of view, include the following topics: husband, emotions, suspects, coping with. Where Melinda Duckett writes, "Honestly, there is no actual coping in this matter. My son is my life, and with him gone, the only thing I can do is exist."
Why aren't you telling us and giving us a clear picture where you were before your son was kidnapped?
Hours before this interview aired September 7th, 2006 on CNN's Nancy Grace show, Melinda Duckett committed suicide at her grandparents' home. In their lawsuit, Melinda Duckett's family claims Nancy Grace and her staff lured Duckett to the show on false pretenses, then subjected her to severe emotional distress with their aggressive line of questioning, which led to Trenton Duckett's mother to commit suicide. In a previous interview, Nancy Grace has said she has no regrets.
No, I do not. I only wish that I could have questioned her more.
Attorneys for Nancy Grace wants a federal judge to throw out the family's wrongful death lawsuit, citing Melinda Duckett was prepared with talking points and scripted her own performance. We tried today reaching attorneys on both sides of this lawsuit, but to no avail. Trenton Duckett was reported missing in August of 2006. The boy remains missing. Live in the newsroom, I'm Gail Pascal Brown, West 2 News.
Oops. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me exit out of that and let me just show you another video, okay? So this video is going to be 6 minutes long, but this is just to kind of give you a little bit more information on the whole situation, okay?
A lawsuit against cable host Nancy Grace, accusing her of intentionally inflicting emotional distress on a guest who committed suicide the next day. A judge has ruled that Grace's testimony can be videotaped, but her attorneys are fighting back, and Chris Cuomo explains why.
No, that is not what I said.
Television host Nancy Grace is known for her interrogation-style interviews. But in September 2006, she was the one under fire when 21-year-old Melinda Duckett committed suicide after a phone interview on Grace.
And you know, we've reviewed a ton of Nancy Grace's videos here on this channel before. And in the comment section, she's really hit or miss sometimes, right? Some of you guys like her, some of you guys hate her. I just seen a comment right now that said, who was that? Was that Art Deco Rose that said, I love, hate her, right? And so many of you guys are back and forth, right? Sometimes she can have a good episode. The recent one that she just put out with David, some of you guys were furious about it, and I can understand why, right? Let's just keep playing.
This show.
Where were you? Why aren't you telling us where you were that day?
Duckett was the mother of missing 2-year-old Trenton Duckett, who had disappeared from his bedroom that August.
Why aren't you telling us and giving us a clear picture where you were before your son was kidnapped?
Because I'm not going to put those kind of details out.
Why?
Because I was told not to.
Grace continued to press Duckett, at one point hinting she was hiding something.
Miss Duckett,
David is guilty.
you're not telling us for a reason. What is the reason?
David is guilty said, I don't think Grace should be her last name. I think it should be Nancy Grouch. That was a good read. Thank you for that.
You refused to give even the simplest facts of where you were with your son before he went missing.
Duckett committed suicide the very next day, hours before her interview aired on Grace's CNN headline news program. When I spoke with Grace just a week later, she was unapologetic.
I think it happened because Melinda Duckett may very well know where her son was. If anything, I would suggest guilt caused her to commit suicide.
But Duckett's family disagrees and has spent the past 4 years in a legal battle with Grace and CNN, claiming Grace's intentional infliction of emotional distress led Duckett to commit suicide.
The family believes Nancy Grace caused Melinda Duckett's suicide.
And in a surprising turn, Grace, a woman who's made her living in front of the cameras, is now trying to hide from them. In a motion obtained by ABC News, Grace's lawyers argue videotaping her testimony could lead to, quote, annoyance, embarrassment, oppression, and undue harm should the videotape be released prior to trial. For Good Morning America, Chris Cuomo, ABC News, New York.
And the little boy, Trenton Duckett, still has not been found.
And this video was done a few years ago, right? And now 2026, this case is still unsolved, and Trenton Duckett has not been found.
Joining us now from Los Angeles with more on this case, renowned defense attorney Dana Cole. Dana, thank you for being with us this morning. And we learned overnight that the judge has ruled that...
Hey, hold on. Shout out to Military Ma for becoming a member. Welcome to the inner circle. Thank you so much for your membership. We appreciate you.
Despite her efforts, Nancy's deposition will be videotaped. Not really surprising here?
Not even slightly surprising. Most states allow videotaping of deposition, and the irony is that Nancy Grace's lawyers had videotaped all of the plaintiff's witnesses, but when it came to Nancy Grace, who lives in front of the camera,
Right.
That was all of a sudden something she didn't want to be a part of, which is kind of funny. But the judge made the right call there.
And so now she's going to strongly argue that it should not be seen anywhere, that shouldn't be leaked to a third party of any sort, right?
Well, yes, but that I can slightly understand because depositions are, you don't want to taint a potential jury pool, so they want to preserve these depositions for time of trial. But at some point in time, I think those depositions might get released, perhaps after this case is concluded.
Describe the case for the plaintiffs, Melinda Duckett's family, for us a little bit more.
Sure. This is a woman who was psychologically, emotionally unstable.
Now, again, if you guys think about it too, right? This Melinda Duckett was only 21 years old, right? So imagine the scrutiny that she was under, especially knowing that she was going to be put on Nancy Grace's show. And if she knew anything about Nancy Grace, she probably knew what she was already in for, right?
Appeared on Nancy's show, and the key issue really is, what was she told before going on the show? Nancy has never met a victim that she doesn't love and has never met a suspect that she wants to tar and feather. If that were permitted under law, she would be, the first to advocate for that. She's tough when it comes to suspects and defendants and loves victims. So the question is, how was this interview initially pitched to this woman? Was it that they were going to be sensitive, wanting to help her in her quest to find her child? Or were they a little less committal about how the interview was going to play out? And was there some sort of deception involved in trying to get her on the show?
Well, Nancy's passion is well documented, as you know. So what is her defense, Dana?
Well, her defense is that, hey, I'm a reporter. I have a right to ask any question I want. This lady voluntarily came on my show. And as the interview progressed, there were things that Melinda Duckett was saying that wasn't sitting well with Nancy, and she had a right to sort of follow up. Her style is confrontational. She likes to cross-examine guests, and that's what she was doing. And there should have been no surprise, and Melinda Duckett was sort of fair game because she voluntarily appeared on the show. Additionally,
you saw the interview. Excuse me, Dana. You saw the interview. Do you think that Nancy Grace went too far?
To be quite honest,
I didn't know that,
actually
Eileen.
don't think she went too far because, she started off being frankly somewhat sensitive and gave Melinda Duckett an opportunity
My mom just became a member.
Offer all sorts of explanations.
Thanks, Jad.
But then there was sort of a turn in the interview where Melinda Duckett became a little more secretive and less forthcoming, and that's when sort of Nancy went in for the kill, so to speak, and kept demanding answers that Melinda was not willing to give. So, I could see how the interview progressed, and it sort of did progress logically. So while I'm not a huge fan of Nancy, and a lot of criminal defense lawyers call her Nancy Disgrace, the fact is
okay, so David is guilty, called her Nancy Grouch, and this guy's saying that people are calling her Nancy Disgrace. Okay. Tammy, thank you for your continued membership. We've only been monetized for a month, so I do appreciate you remaining a member for a month. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Don't think she necessarily went beyond the pale in this particular interview.
Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens.
So I want to ask you guys, was Nancy out of line? Did she overstep her boundaries when cross-examining her patients? I want to know what you guys think. We'll read some comments. Felicia, welcome. Feel like I haven't seen you in forever. Let's see. Military Moss said, I would never go on Nancy's show. I could go on my mom's and get yelled at for no reason. Right? And do me a favor, you guys. I'll probably only ask just this one time. If you can, do me a favor. Hit that like button. And if you like the content that we're providing you guys, consider subscribing and maybe becoming a member. We have very affordable memberships starting at only 99 cents. So if you guys aren't a member, I encourage you guys. So Why do I bring this up, right? What does this Trenton Duckett and Melinda Duckett and Nancy Grace have anything to do with this story? So I'll tell you, right? And it happened, when was it? Was it yesterday or this morning? When I woke up, I was taking a look at my phone. And of course, obviously, because I'm addicted to social media and YouTube, I was looking at my phone and I noticed that I had a comment under one of my videos. And I'm going to read you guys I'm going to show you guys what the comment said. And then we'll kind of discuss it, right? Because I want to see what your guys' thoughts are after I show it to you. So let's go to this comment right over here. And I was considering redacting some of the information on here, but I decided, because some things have kind of changed since then, that, I'm just going to show you the comment itself. It was public anyways. It was on my video. And the video that it was under was the last live that I did regarding, the arrest of Neo and the potential of him driving the Tesla. So here's the comment. It said, Neo did not hide out with his mom. He lives with his mom. He was never served. He never drove the Tesla. He is not in a plea deal. He has nothing to hide. He was cooperating with the DA already, and the arrest is completely bogus. Nancy is Melinda Ducketting him. So when I saw this comment, it raised a lot of questions, and I was really curious about how factual this person is actually being in the comment section. So, I just found it really weird, right? Clearly Shelly's in the house. Scarlett Begonias is here. Okay, I'm seeing some new names. So I appreciate you guys hanging out. But I want to ask you guys, what are you guys' thoughts on this? Let me remove the comments so that way you guys can see this. There you go. Let me see. David is guilty said, I think she is too mean on every episode. She calls Steve Fisher little boy, right? Completely unnecessary. Storm said, I said he wasn't served. So, what do you guys think? Viking woman would say, prove it. It's a Neo Blazer. Okay. Art Decker Rose said, I doubt they would fly all the way to arrest him, right? If he was cooperating. Clearly Shelly said, Flojo, we met at Rabbits. Okay, I think Nancy Grace goes too dang far every time. You met her once. Well, how was she? Was she nice? Maybe his mama? The poster is older to use that reference. Very true, right? Somebody had to have been old. This case happened, what? The Melinda Duckett case happened 20 years ago? So somebody had to be familiar with it, right? So I'll show you another screenshot, right? So I was looking at the name and I was like, I don't know how to read this. Is this Cassie Agreeable or C Asia Agreeable, right? So I ended up wanting to go to this profile just to be curious, right? Because I responded to it, but unfortunately, I think I went to go look at this comment, but when I was in my comment section and I was looking, the comment is no longer there, right? So I can't go back and look at it. But when I clicked on the profile, this is what showed up, right? What do you guys see here? Anything that you guys see? Just kind of play a little bit of music in the background. There is a picture of him being arrested at his mom's house. Yes, there is, and we've showed that the day that it happened to him, right? Like, what is this person even talking about, said Storm. Darcy said, did you check who this commenter is? Yeah, we did. We definitely looked. Storm said he probably didn't know there was a warrant out for his arrest. Nicole Powell said, I don't know if this person really knows what is happening with him. Or do they? Right, Nicole? I mean, I feel like we don't even know what's going on with him. I mean, all we saw was a video of him getting arrested. And the rest, you know, we kind of followed from TMZ, right? They said that he was arrested on a failure to appear. So, I don't know. Marissa said Cassie equals almost in Spanish. She was absolutely sweet in Southern iced tea. Oh, Nancy? She was at an event we had in a park. She met with crime victims and families of victims and was absolutely a different person. And I've heard that before. I've heard people say that they've met Nancy Grace and she's totally different in person than she is on TV. Viking Woman said, is that Neo's mom? So if we're looking at this photo right over here, right? When I clicked on the profile, it took me to this, and on the home section, it had 1, 2, 3 videos posted, right? And these videos were posted 3 years ago. And, you know, after looking at these videos, it was easy to identify who this person is after learning who Neo's mother was. And yes, all of these videos turned out to be Neo's mother. I can't verify that she was the person who uploaded it. I can't verify that this is her profile. However, every single one of these videos that are on this page from 3 years ago have her in them. Mark said, did Neo's mom email Rabbit to censor her address? I reached out to Rabbit and asked her about it and see if there was any commonalities in the name. And unfortunately, you know, there were no matches. You know, it was a different email. I think Rabbit said that it could have been either her or someone from her team reaching out to her. But obviously it's not my place to speak on Rabbit's, you know, interactions with the mother or with Neo's mom. So, you know, can't really say much about it. Storm said, like someone my age might remember Nancy Grace from 20 years ago, right? Chloe said he doesn't need to know that there was a warrant out for his arrest, though. He was supposed to show up to testify and didn't, which equals the failure to appear, right? Mac Dizzleson, I haven't seen you in forever. Where have you been? Well, welcome. What are incorporated cops as opposed to sheriffs? That's a great question. I have no idea. No idea. So Darcy said that is her, Cynthia. Yeah, I mean, these videos are her, but the thing is I can't verify 100% that this profile belongs to her, right? I don't know if this is just a burner account, if it's somebody just reposting her videos, right? But I did find it weird, right, that the comment said Neo did not hide out with his mom. He lives with his mom, right? I think that would just kind of be a correction as to the speculation that he was hiding at his mom's house. You know, Nancy Grace was saying that he was hiding under his mom's bed. So maybe this could be the mom, right? Could be the boyfriend. I don't know. I don't know anything about the boyfriend. Would rather kind of just leave him out because we know nothing of his involvement in this and I don't know him. So it says Neo did not hide out with his mom. He lives with his mom. He was never served. He never drove the Tesla. He is not in a plea deal. He has nothing to hide. And he was cooperating with the DA already. And the arrest is completely bogus. Nancy is Melinda ducketing him. And so, you know, after reading this, I really had to kind of go back and remind myself about this Trenton Duckett and Melinda Duckett case. And that last sentence, Nancy is Melinda ducketing him, you know, it had me questioning, is all the pressure that's being applied to Neo regarding his involvement in the death of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, is it causing him to feel suicidal? Right? Is Neo feeling the pressure right now? You know, because obviously, you know, we've said this many times, there has been no suspect named in this case, right? Everybody is innocent until proven guilty, and right now there are no suspects. Now I want to remind you, I want to take you guys back to this really quick, right? Where is it? Where did it go? Right here. We're going to take you back, right? Now, if the mom is claiming that Neo has never drove the Tesla, I feel like I need to go back and take a look at some of the things that have been said over the past few months and really kind of ask questions back, right? Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Good screen grab before it was deleted. Hey, you gotta save everything, right? Just like David wants us to delete everything, we're gonna do the complete opposite and save it, right? I want to take us back to October 11th. Steve Fisher, the private investigator, put out a tweet that said, "Let's speculate that the Tesla was moved the last time and left the parking spot it was impounded from right before the tour started in San Francisco. Who actually moved the Tesla the final time? You don't get answers unless you ask questions. So I'll ask, was it Neo? I'm just curious, right?" And so basically he's asking, right? I don't know if he's asking, was it Neo because Neo was seen in some footage? Or is it because that he's actually seen the footage of who moved the Tesla? Now, let me just remind you guys, a couple days ago on Nancy Grace.
Up on the screen, isn't it true, Steve Fisher, that you amassed ring cam and other video of the neighborhood as D4VD's Tesla was moved from spot to spot? Isn't that true?
Yes, it's true.
And isn't it also true that you saw the face of who was driving the Tesla? Isn't that true?
That is true. I know where this is going.
Was it Neo?
I can't say. We've been through this before. I can't. It will come out. I can't. Listen, I don't want to take the chance of somebody. This is.
Hold on. Let me catch up on the chat really quick. The comment is obviously pro Neo, and Nancy fucks up her facts occasionally. That's true, right? We saw from this episode right here, when they were calling David a rapper, right? Let's see. Military Mod said, so if it's true that he didn't drive the Tesla, who did? Storm said she's older than me. She's more likely to remember. I don't. I had a life. David said, I had a random account called BTZM853 that wrote me and said, Neo is not the driver. I just checked and it's gone. Well, that's weird, right? Because we actually went back to and looked, right? Because when I went back to the comment, I actually emailed myself the link to the profile because I wanted to check up on it later because I felt like something was weird with this, right? Whether or not this is really somebody from Neo's camp or not, we wanted to just keep it in our back pocket so we can follow up with it, right? So I clicked on the profile earlier today, and it's funny that you say that David is guilty because when I clicked on it, this is exactly where it took me, to an account that said BTZM853 as what you mentioned in the comments. So you just mentioned right now that you checked and it's gone too. So we're going to refresh in real time, you guys. Let's see if the account is still active. Okay, well, it says that it's here. The account is here. The account was created November 8th, 2022, but it says that there are no videos to share. So currently on February 1st, 8:49 in Los Angeles time, this profile no longer has these videos right here, right? So it is a little weird. I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know what incorporated cops are yet. Did anybody find the answer to that? I'm curious. All right, we have to give you a name because I can't read your screen name. 5JG. Sorry about that. Says Neo knows exactly what happened. And that's a great point, right? Because in this statement, it says here that he has been, or he was cooperating with the DA already. So I'm curious if Neo's been cooperating with the DA. What was the whole arrest about? Right now, obviously, we know that TMZ has been in a back and forth on statements that have come out between the LAPD and the ME. We even know that they've doubled down in the past. So I don't know. Could TMZ may have gotten it wrong? We also know that they mentioned that there was a female witness that was supposed to be served a body attachment for them to appear in court because they also didn't appear to testify. So could TMZ have gotten it wrong, or is there really another female that was supposed to testify? We don't know, right? So we went back. We took a look at that comment. Now, I don't know exactly where he says it, but we're gonna watch this, and I feel like we go back to this video over and over and over again. But I just feel like this video is so important to this case.
Downtown LA, and I'll say the last photo that we have of Celeste is January 2nd, 2025.
Okay, now that's significant because we were wondering when, she was last seen alive. There was that surveillance footage of her seemingly running away from her neighborhood.
And that was September of 24, I believe. So we didn't have anything. We were like, where was this girl in 2025? But we do have a photo of her on July 2nd, early in the morning, July 2nd, 2025.
You think so, Mac?
Has anyone, and just to be clear, you don't know more information about when she died, right?
Hey, yo, you guys, Mark said hit the like button, you guys. You guys better follow Mark the Shark and what he says. Smash that like button, y'all. Thank you, guys.
Okay. I don't have any information of how she died or when exactly she died. Listen, investigations are always moving, and right now I tend to believe it happened a long time ago. And I think January, February, things changed. I mean, you can see it in the photos and everything. And I also think when I first started looking at this case, I'm very much an Occam's razor type of person where I think things are a lot easier than people try to make them sometimes, especially online, into these big things. And I thought this was going to be a tragic overdose, which it very well still could be. And they made a bad decision because they didn't want to expose a potential relationship and put her in this Tesla. And then maybe he thought he could get somebody to get rid of that car. And they were just like, no, I'm not doing it. And just got left there. But I will say this,
oh, hold on. Is he going to say something?
There's some things that, and I'm talking physical evidence that was at that house that is...
I'm trying to find the transcript.
There could have been greater plans as far as getting rid of her. And it's scary, sadistic stuff, and that's why we're trying to learn more about that. I wish I could say more about
coming up right here.
I can't, but it doesn't have to do with how she died, but maybe how they were planning on ultimately getting rid of her, and how maybe that Tesla was just a holding spot at the time, and things just their timing was just off as far as getting this done. But there's a few things that were just like will blow your mind.
Has anyone from David's team, management, legal, anybody reached out to you or your client?
I know that my client's been in touch with his manager, but only for the purpose of the lease, because they did ask to terminate the lease. And I believe the other manager that technically was the owner of the red Tesla, I think was in touch with him because they needed access to the house to get that vehicle and stuff out. Because that's another thing that they could be key in this, is that there's only one key to that house, and who had that and who had access to it and who was in it, because we also have evidence.
Okay, so this is a part too that kind of trips me out too, right? If you guys remember, SF Investigates had stated that there was only one key to the house. I don't know if he later clarified what he meant by that, but he was saying that maybe potentially the same person who moved the car may have also had the key to the house. They mentioned that in between the time that the body was identified, Celeste was identified, and the day that the search warrant was served, which was September 18th. So from September 8th to the 18th, somebody was in that house. So could it have been Neo, or could it have been somebody else?
that while David was on tour at the time between the Tesla being found and the search warrant being served, David was on tour, but somebody was in that house. And there was actually a report made, not with police, but that homeowner association has a robust private security company. And we've gotten videos from them and reports. And so who had that key is probably the same person that, had access to the Tesla.
Do you know who that person is, and do you believe that is the person that moved the Tesla?
So I definitely know who moved that Tesla and that late.
Okay, hold on. Let's go back. Let's listen to his words again.
So I definitely know who moved that Tesla in that late July before the.
So SF Investigates states that he knows who moved that Tesla. Now, this person in the comments is saying Neo did not move that Tesla, right?
On tour. I can't say who the person, and I don't mean I can't say but I don't know who exactly was in that house because it.
Okay, so he went from I know who moved the car, I can't tell you who it was, but I don't know who was in the house. But he also just mentioned, did the same person who moved the Tesla, did they possibly have the keys to the house too? So I'm hearing like a little back and forth in the same conversation. So it's kind of confusing to me, right? And, I was told that when it can be released, the information will be released. And I think that we're just kind of patiently waiting at this point for us to know a little something, right? The Wicked Witch of the Midwest said, he did, wearing a Ted Fishnet tank top. And we'll talk about that, right? So you're saying that it was Neo who moved the Tesla. Great point.
It's
right,
just
so we'll talk about it.
But there's video, but you can't make a person out. But somebody was in the house, and being that there's only one key, it's like, okay, who had access at that time? So is it the same person that moved the Tesla?
And Mark made a great point, right? I don't think knowing who moved the Tesla will make or break the case. And you know what? You might be right, Mark. That's probably the case, right? But I'm still curious why SF hasn't mentioned who it is, right? If it's not going to hurt the case, then why hasn't he told us? I'm just genuinely curious why. There has to be a reason why he hasn't said. This is like one of the first things that was brought up in this case, and it's still one of the last things that we still don't know.
Another last part of the plan about to go in motion as far as getting rid of her body. I don't know.
Now, we heard this week.
Now, here's the crazy part, right? Is that, was it Neo? Was it David? Was it Rob? Was it Asia? We don't know exactly who it is, right? But the thing that we do know is that Neo was in town. He was back in town once the tour kicked off, and he could be placed back at home in Los Angeles as early as August 3rd. So that's July 29, 30, 31, 1, 2. So as early as 4 days later, right? He's back in LA. The thing is that we have absolutely zero digital record or digital footprint of Rob's whereabouts. Now, we do know that Asia stayed with David for the entire duration of the tour. And then we circle back around on this this little fishnet story of Neo. Let me see. I'll pull up this picture right over here, right? And this is not a very clear picture because the more I blow it up, the more it becomes a little blurry. And so we see that he's wearing this red fishnet jersey, right? And then we do remember that SF Investigate says that the person that he saw in the video was wearing something very distinct. Now, could this be something that is very distinct, right? Something hard to forget? Yeah, it definitely is, right? It's a red tank top. Looks like it's see-through, right? And then the crazy part that he mentioned is also that the person was seen wearing this thing 24 hours or 12 hours before, right? So we can speculate that Neo was wearing this on July 29th, or maybe he was wearing this on the 28th. But I want to take us back to his story, right? Now you can see that he's wearing the red fishnet jersey here. Now, if we take a look at his story here, it really looks like he's wearing the same exact thing, right? So you see that he's got the same hat. It looks like a Supreme hat. Looks like he's got the same jeans, and he's got the same labubu hanging from his jeans. But the only crazy part about this is that this photo from his story says that it was posted on July 27th, right? And we know that the tour bus left July 29th. And so if this video was really posted on July 27th, and the tour bus left on July 29th, that could be anywhere between 24 to 48 hours that Neo was in the same clothes, right? I find that very hard to believe that Neo was wearing the same clothes for 48 hours. So, after today and after the comments, I might not believe that Neo was the person who moved the Tesla. Let me see what y'all are talking about in the chat. If it turns out that David moved the Tesla, I am going to be angry that Steve let us think it was Neo, honestly, right? Art Deca Rhodes said, doesn't want to get on bad side of the cops, feeding him intel. Could be. He's doing what his current client asked him to. Which is what, Storm? To stay quiet? The Wicked Witch of the Midwest said it shows compliance and that they can charge... Hold on, let me just make sure we play a little bit of music. It shows compliance and that they can charge against someone or cut a deal in probate for more info on who actually committed the acts. Well, we do know that Neo may have potentially been brought in to testify. We know that they grilled Rob for 3 days. We still have no idea how long Neo the Asian was grilled for. So, I'm just really curious. Ah, thank you. Thank you, Stars. You like the hair? I actually put gel in my hair today instead of wore a hat. But we don't know how long Neo's been grilled or if he even testified, right? But we do know that Rob did, and he was there for about 3 days. Nope. We do know Neo was back in LA during David's tour, but what that have to be to Neo? Hold on, you guys. Let me turn on my fan because it's really hot. All right, y'all. I'm back. Steve called them a him on Nancy's recent broadcast. You know what? David's guilty. I was trying to go back to listen to that, but I couldn't hear the part where Nancy said him. Maybe I'm tripping and I just didn't catch it, but I didn't hear that. What do they all have in common? Don't get mad at SF. He's out looking every day for missing people. That's how he came across Celeste. The Wicked Witch of the Midwest said there's photos of Neo and Asia moving the car. Is that so? There's photos of Neo and Asia moving the car. If there are, none of us have seen them, and I sure do, right? What I do have, though, let me see where it's at. Shout out to Mark for the $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Could be Rob with a significant looking hat. Well, that very well could be, right? Because we do know, oops, let me open this up. Rob Morgan Roth Jr. Let's click on his images. Well, you know what's funny is because hey, shout out to Mark who just sent one gifted membership. Who received that? Patroness Glow. Hey, Patroness Glow, welcome to the inner circle. Shout out to Mark the Shark, and make sure you thank Mark for that gifted membership. Let's see. So you can see here, right? Our guy Rob is always wearing a hat. I guess in most of his videos, right? So could he have been wearing a very distinct hat? It's possible. It's very, very, very possible. What? Did I miss that? Art Deco donated 22. Not sure if I saw that. Whoa. Hold on. Oh, shoot. I totally missed that. Thank you, Mark, for that reminder. Shout out to Art Deco Rose for that $20 super chat. Wow. Art Deco, thank you. Shout out to Art Deco Rose. Thank you so much. Good looking out, Mark. I appreciate that. Thank you. Now I want to bring this video up to you guys right over here, right? Because this is a video that I found in the archives, and this is actual video of the tour bus, and I think this was taken on July 29th. So let's just watch this video, and I want you guys to tell me what you guys see.
Just show you guys the eats before we embark on our tour adventure.
So here we have Asia, right, on the Tour Bus Chronicles Chapter 1 with her Samsung phone, right, because she did say that her iPhone was stolen.
We got the Bangin' Balls burgers.
And then we have Neo over here with the Bangin' Balls burgers, even though it looks like chicken.
Bangin' Balls, tender, tour bus vibes, studio in the back because we making music called Tour. You know where it's at. You know what it is.
Hold on, let's go back. And who do we have here? It looks like we have a reflection of David. Looks like we have a reflection of David in the tour bus. And it looks like, to me, if you pause it right there, you can see that he's wearing a bonnet, right? Let me see. I just looked up the account, and that BTZ858 is only one. No, the comments they wrote are gone too. Yeah, so the comment that they left on my page is gone too, so I couldn't find it. It could be Rob always wearing those baseball caps and David caps. Yeah, definitely, right? Art Deco Road said, maybe real cops were hired for an event. I was a cop for 7 years. Eileen said Neo was already on the bus. I believe David is guilty. I think we all do, right? But he's innocent until proven guilty, though. Let me see. Am I far? I'm far, huh? Neo was wearing a red mesh jersey the night before they left tour. SF said the person driving had the same distinct outfit as the night before. Thank you, Marissa, for that. So I'm very curious. Could it have been David who actually moved the Tesla? And are they not telling us who it is because that person is actually being looked at as the suspect? I don't know. It's really hard to say, because if you take a look at this, right? If you take a look at Asia, I mean, it doesn't really look like she's wearing anything very distinct besides a laced sweater, right? And then if you take a look at Neo, I don't know anything distinct about what he's wearing. I mean, it looks like he's wearing pajama pants, maybe, and a black sweater. David is guilty said if Neo turns out not to be the driver, then it would have to be David. So who do you think it was? Eileen said, yep, I know that is true. And Chance, both of them were in the car. Well, I think SF clarified, right, that the person who drove the car, there was only one of them. Storm said you're not dropping Rob. So you think it was Rob? And if I'm way off, I'll eat crow. But, Storm says she's confident. Marissa said, could be either. There are pics of Rob at the party, right? Do we know what he was wearing that night before? Nah, we don't know anything about Rob's whereabouts, at least to my knowledge, right? Not hard to make copies of the key. Absolutely. Definitely pretty easy to do that, right? David is guilty said Neo also could have lied to his mom and said, I'm innocent. I seriously doubt that he would tell her the truth if he was involved. I don't know. Mark is telling SF to spill it. Magdalene said, or one of his handlers. Who do you think his handlers are, though? Clearly, Shelley said, I do not know anything at all about Teslas except that they have a frunk. Yeah, I don't know anything about them either. They have two trunks, right? One in the front, one in the back. Damn it, Steve, spill it out. I'm gonna just call you said David moved it and Neo dropped the Tesla key and lost it in the gutter. I do remember that post way back on Reddit when there was a Tesla key found right outside of the house in that gutter. We don't know anything about that anymore. The person who found it posted it on Reddit and then said that they submitted it to the LAPD. So don't know anything else about it. Let's see. Scarlett is asking, is anyone else snowed in? Unfortunately, we're not. Out here in LA, it was hot today. Yep, Stars, her Samsung is her streaming phone, right? Look, one extra food for Rob. He's moving the car. Uh-oh. Hold on. Let's go back and rewatch this real quick. So that burrito could be for David.
Just show you guys the eats before we
There's another open one right over there.
Embark on our tour adventure.
Could that be Asia? No, that looks like Asia's box right there in front of her.
We got the Bangin' Balls burgers, the Bangin' Balls tender, tour bus vibes, studio in the back because we making music called tour. You know where it's at. You know what it is. Why am I talking like this? I don't know. See y'all in San Francisco. First show on the way. We're gonna get naked on stage.
What? Oh, God. That's so horrible. Ramona said, could the bodyguard had be moving the vehicle as well? It's very possible, right? Foxy Amazon said, what up, y'all? I'm out doing deliveries. Well, thank you for tuning in. Star said, Neo looks low-key ashamed in his video. It's like he knows he just did something wrong. Or what if he didn't, though, Stars? You know? I mean, that comment that I received, you know, it leads me to believe that maybe Neo, it could be Neo's mom. Maybe it could be somebody in Neo's corner. But I do think that whoever it is obviously didn't want their identity to be further discussed, which is why they deleted all of the videos, changed their name. Maybe they deleted the profile. It's a little odd though, huh? Apparently the LAPD think David is guilty, and they're doing the grand jury to get him. We'll hope so. I'm not included in the jury pool, so I can say I believe with my whole round ass he's guilty, said the Wicked Witch of the Midwest. As you please. Yes, you can definitely have your own opinions here on filling in the gaps. Star said, Asia looks excited. Neo looks like a dog who tore up the toilet paper and knows you're about to yell at it. Oh, poor doggy, right? Ramona Light Healer said, these people are very disgusting for doing those things to a young lady. Very, very disgusting. But the problem is we don't know who. We don't know who. And the only thing we'll learn, right, or the only time we'll learn something is when SF decides to spill it, when he decides to let us know who it was that moved the Tesla. I'm curious. I know you guys are curious too. If it was David, that should be enough to arrest him. I think if it was, then they would have done it a long time ago, right? I highly doubt that they would have waited this long to arrest them. Or are they waiting for SF to spill it? Mark says, I don't think it's David. David is guilty, said maybe Neo changed his outfit after driving a car with a dead person. He'd likely take a shower. Well, I mean, if this person was wearing the clothes 12 hours the night before, right? What makes you think that they took a shower? I don't know if they took a shower in between partying and then moving the car. Wait, does Asia and Neo have their own plate? Let's watch it again.
Show you guys the eats before we embark on our tour.
So here we see David and his painted nails, right? Looks like they have one burrito here. There's another one here that's open, so I don't know who it belongs to. Maybe, and it looks like it may have been eaten already, or at least started and opened. There's some fries right over here. We have Asia again on her Samsung. She's got her own little box of food right over there. So maybe that open box doesn't belong to Asia.
The banging balls burgers, the banging balls tender, tour bus vibes, studio in the back because we making music called tour. You know where it's at. You know what it is. Why am I talking like this? I don't know. See y'all in San Francisco. First show on the way. We're going to get naked on stage.
Gonna get naked on stage for all the little kids that are watching a show. Oh, wow. EST that cake anime. Very true. David is guilty. Let's see. Why didn't they arrest David in 2023 or 2024? Since when they knew she was a minor? That's a good question. That's a good question. And I know that people, you know, have said that they've been trying to get him arrested, but he hasn't been. So let me see. What else do we have here? Let's go ahead and read this again too, right? So this was a tweet that SF put out on the 25th of January. He said, "What I am most curious about in the Celeste Rivas Hernandez case is what David's reaction or explanation was when it was disclosed on September 8th that a body had been found in a car registered to him. The only people who would have known that there are those who were on tour with him at the time. I know Neo started the tour with him, but I do not believe he was there for the entire duration. Rob likely was involved." Right? Again, let me say that again. Rob likely was involved, but he may not have been on the road continuously or present at every show. Now, if he wasn't there at every show, where was he? Right? Could he have been home while David was on tour? I don't know. There's really no digital footprint of him. Asia, however, I believe was with David the entire time on the road at each show and was with him the day the news broke. I believe that because Asia left her car at the rental house on the day they boarded the tour bus for the first show in San Francisco in July, her car was not picked up until September 19th when her father retrieved it late that evening as seen on surveillance. Sorry, you guys. Having a heartburn. It would be extremely telling to know how those conversations unfolded after it became public that Celeste's body had been found. I'm sure there was shock, not about the body itself, but because they already knew about that, in my opinion, but about the fact that the world would now know what kind of people they are. Who can do this to a 14-year-old girl, or even have knowledge of it, and still live with themselves months later and not even a single offer of condolences to Celeste's family and friends from any of them? Nobody has ever been convicted of a crime by offering a condolence. And if some people are offered immunity, it doesn't mean that they are not guilty. It means they got lucky. But karma does not care about luck. To be clear, I'm sick and effing tired of each day that goes by that those are responsible are not behind bars. It's time to effing pay for what you did, or each of you did. Rob's in the Caribbean with his fam. Like right now? Marissa said, I believe SF isn't saying anything because the driver is a suspect. If true, then Rob was questioned as a witness, so process of elimination would leave Diva. You could be right. You know? I bet David made this flunkies do all that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at this point, I have no idea. At one point, I was dead set on it being Neo, you know, because I thought because he was home before the tour left California. But now I'm starting to think it wasn't really him. I originally thought it was David, but Steve's comments make me think it's Neo. Of course, his mom is going to defend him. David's mom probably thinks her son is so innocent. So here, let's go to Reddit, right? So I want to see what other people put. So I obviously put this up on Reddit, right? Because I wanted to see what the reaction was. And so I asked a few questions, right? How would this person be able to present all of this as fact? If it is fact, right? If it is somebody from his camp. Is it coming from Is it coming from firsthand knowledge, official information, or simply trusting Neo's version of events? Could this be emotional damage control for someone close to him? If these claims are false, could making such definitive public statements create legal exposure for the commenter? Has anyone else noticed relatives or associates speaking out publicly about this case, or in David's case, that is, right? Because I haven't heard a single person on David's side talk, and maybe we're never going to, right? Given that this is an ongoing investigation and public does not have access to all of the facts, I find it unusual and risky for someone to make such confident public assertions meant to correct the narrative. I'm curious how others interpret this, whether this should be viewed as insider knowledge, emotional defense, or something else entirely. This is up for discussion. And then I put in the post, the comment should remain in the comment sections in the link below until the person who posted it decides to delete it. So, obviously, after this post went live on Reddit, it was completely deleted. Where was I? I think David has a burger and 2 baked potatoes, and Asia had those fries. The burger is in a separate box. Now that I'm thinking about it, SF said that he didn't want to reveal the name because of street justice, right? He didn't want people to take matters into his own hands. What did he say? Street vigilantes. People already want street justice against David, so it tells me it's someone other than David, in my opinion. Wow. I think Steve is making us believe it was Neo who moved it, but really David and Steve is acting. Ooh. Ouch. I really hope, SF isn't really just pulling our leg, right? Because that would really, really suck that he's kind of swaying the public opinion. Show the food again, please. All right. Y'all want to see the food? I hope it's not making you guys hungry. All right. So we see here that the first tray is a burrito. The second one is an open box, and it looks like there's an open packet of ketchup here. So maybe somebody's already taken, I don't know. There are places that have like 2 burgers, right, in an order. So maybe somebody took one of their orders out. There's some fries that are right over here. And then there's another box over here with Asia and 1 burger. And then it looks like Neo has his own tray of food. Yeah, so he goes over here. Here, we'll just kind of play it.
Burgers, the banging balls, tender, tour bus vibes, studio in the back because we making music called tour. You know where it's at. You know what it is. Why am I talking like this? I don't know. See y'all in San Francisco. First show on the way. We're going to get naked on stage.
They're going to get naked. Nasty. A fresh shower before leaving the tour sounds normal to me, but I'm not on tour. Remember, Rob was asked why he didn't call the police. Okay, hold on. I'm glad that you brought that up because I do want to... Let me find an article really quick. Let me just take us back to over here. Let me just find this really quick too because I may not be able to find it. What is it called? No. Hold on, you guys, because I found an article on the East Bay Times a while back. Hopefully we can see this. No. All right, well, I guess not. But anyways, basically, there was an article on the East Bay Times, and I guess maybe I can't see it because I'm not on my mobile app. But I remember on the East Bay Times, the article basically said that the grand jury had Rob Morgan-Roth in as a witness, and they remember hearing Beth, or he was mentioning that he was being grilled by Beth Silverman, and they kept asking him, why didn't he call the police? And then the article said after discovering the body was in the Tesla. Now, I don't know if the wording for that article was just worded differently, but I do remember clearly reading it, and it said, "Why didn't you call the police after discovering the body in the Tesla?" I don't know if that was just information that nobody had ever heard before, or if the wording was different. But to me, I kind of got the impression that maybe Rob may have discovered the body at one point and he decided not to say anything about it. And, you know, again, he felt like it wasn't his responsibility and he just wanted the tour to continue. Because to me, that totally makes sense, right? Just watching now, but I don't think Nancy is wrong. She was a criminal prosecutor and that's her style. She's passionate and each one of the people that come on her show are regulars and put up with her. That's true. That's true, Miss Francesca. Did I say that right? Hold on. Can I get out of this? They took a shower after parking the car, MS. Steve said it was a few hours after. Steve said it was a few hours after it was parked when they left for a tour. Actually, he said in another meeting that as soon as they parked the car, they immediately left on tour. I mean, we'd have to find that. Hold on, let me go back up to... trying to find a comment. Okay, that was the most disgusting thing I ever heard. What Rob said. My money is on Rob, Peekaboo says. Okay, Peekaboo, that's right. Hold on, what did... Peekaboo said, remember when Rob asked why he didn't call the police? He just wanted to get on with the tour. Yeah. So, I don't know, you guys. Maybe the person who left the comment was right. And maybe they actually do have some insider info that we just really don't know. And I believe that if this person was Neo's mom, you know, who left the comment, I believe that Neo would have told her everything, right? Neo doesn't go from California to Montana, especially during all of this, you know, for no reason. Obviously, he's going to follow his mom. Like, he could have went to Texas, right? He could have went to his dad's house, but he went with his mom, right? Now, obviously, there's rumors about the relationship between them, but that's none of my business. I don't really care about that. But he went to Montana for a reason, right? Maybe it's because the mom has the protection. Maybe he knows that, you know, he can tell his mom anything and she'd protect him. But obviously there's somebody in Neo's camp that came out to defend him, right? Star said, I like how Robert tried to move on with his life and work with Hannah right away. And that's true too, right? I think maybe we don't have a lot of digital records of where he was at because he wasn't with David. He could have been working with Hannah Bang at the time, but we don't really know. 3 days on a jury is super long. I agree, right? They said it's very, very unusual. Is it? Oh, let me see. Elvis Gardner said that sure is a short bus they're riding, especially for a tour bus. The red Tesla was leased under Rob Morgenroth. Rob Morgenroth gets a new car, right, on February 1st. I feel it's either David or Robert who moved the car because knew what both knew, right? Thank you for voicing for Celeste. Absolutely, we need good people to give the voiceless attention. May God protect her on the other side. Thank you so much for that, Ramona. We do everything that we can to ensure that we keep Celeste's name alive here on this channel. And, you know, all the other channels that continue to talk about her case. You know, we do a lot of digging and researching on this case. We work with some really good people behind the scenes who you know, are really reliable sources in this stuff too. So shout out to all of those people out there who help contribute to this channel. David and Asia both have made comments about wanting to off themselves in the past on social media, but Neo being suicidal does not equal not involved. And sorry if I'm behind on the comments, y'all. It's not just that they didn't offer condolences. They filmed a video dramatizing what they did to her, and Rob's all over his Insta on the island. Oof. Oh, I'm super behind on the chat, huh? All right. I asked that person, how do you know Neo is innocent? And apparently they deleted the comment. That's not a good argument. Yeah, they probably got really scared. T2 programmed to terminate NWO. Your volume is very low each stream compared to others anyways. It's all good. Otherwise, audio is balanced on clip playback. I apologize about that. I don't know what I'm doing, you guys. I'm new to streaming, so bear with me as I try to fix this. Group effort. I think that she was an art project for him, and I think that him and all of his friends were all in on it, says Tara Jackson. Could be, right? I mean, LAPD, or I don't know. At this point, I don't even know what's real. LAPD said that there's more than one suspect. TMZ said that there's more than one suspect. That second suspect was involved before, during, and after the death of Celeste, right? But what we do know is we don't know anything from the LAPD, right? Everything that we do know because of SF Investigates. And then TMZ, right? But I mean, after the recent stuff that's come out like in the past day or two, can you really trust TMZ? I don't know. The thing is, Cynthia, you have a doctorate degree. If you care at all about your son, encourage him to do the right thing instead of defending his honor to the public who doesn't know the facts. Very, very true, right? She is a doctor. Desert Druzy, welcome. Thank you for hanging out. It's weird to me that David's parents didn't let him listen to music, but they don't mind him being in the music industry. Isn't that weird? Well, I mean, you know, when you bring in money, that could just change a lot of things, right? What's up? Did I post that in? It was under the Dave Idiots one, the D4VD Idiots. I'll put the link in the comment for you guys to read if you guys care to check it out. Let me know if you guys get it. I think Neo's mom could sue Steve Fisher for posting "Was it Neo?" in connection with the crime, unless he is irresponsible and reckless. No way he dropped Neo's name. Like, well, it's crazy, right? Because October 11th, September, October. I'm wondering if SF made that comment before he was able to obtain surveillance footage. That's the part that I'm curious about. Did he make that comment before he was able to obtain footage? I don't know. I mean, I haven't really looked at the timeline that crazy to determine that. But maybe he made that comment before SF even, found that surveillance footage. If you really cared about your friend, no matter what, you wouldn't say something if she was found in your car or anything at all. Right? I don't know. I mean, are you a real friend if you stay quiet, or are you a real friend if you speak up and say something about it, right? I guess it just depends. And she was a child. Art Decker Rose said no, but if David mentions her, it could open him up as a pedophile charges, right? Sure, his attorney is making him stay quiet. Tara Jackson says he is a PDF. He needs those charges, and if he didn't care about that, if he was innocent, then that shouldn't matter. What news station was this? Wait, what was the question? Oh, TMZ. Seems like it fits. Was there a video clip of somebody saying, I wonder how many bodies he used this time? I think that was, oh, Melly's in the house. What's up, Melly? How's it going? Thank you for stopping by. And those shirts that he made with the blood, I don't know if the blood dries darker, but it is really suspect to me. There's so many photos of David and those t-shirts. I don't even know what to believe anymore, right? I've seen one where he had this white Zara t-shirt that had blood on it, but but I think it was like dried up, so it looked really really brown. Or he smelled an odor of decomp and didn't call the cops. Could be, right? Who the hell finds a dead body and says, I have errands to do, forget this? I don't know, maybe some you're right, Ardeka Rose. Who finds a body and says that, right? Because nobody should. Bean Baby said, yeah, and David's mom's supposedly a lawyer and his dad holds Epstein files. So yeah, I mean, there's talks about like the firm that he worked with, may have worked on the Epstein case, but I don't know. I think there's a lot more to it. I was watching another channel mention and that there was another guy, man, that Celeste, but he was unalived by another person. If you can find it, Ramona Light Healer. Yeah, that was probably the video from Strategic Eyes. Shout out to Strategic Eyes, for putting that video together. It's hard, right? I mean, there's not really a lot of information about that, and the one thing is that Gus is not alive, so we can't ask him. We don't know much about him, and the craziest part all about it is that he died in 2020, so that made Celeste 10 years old while he was 20. I think he was 20, which is 10-year difference, which is, I don't know how common that is in the PDF world, but that's a huge gap, right? That's a huge gap in age. Right, we only have Matthew's alleged text to go by. Yeah, right. Tara Jackson said, I believe this last one was more than 11 years old when David started messing with her. Oh, that Celeste was 11. Oh, at Gooner Hall, right? So weird and really sick too. Yeah, you guys seen that video? That Neo in the Gooner Hall? Yeah, Mark asked Stars, is there any weight to that Gus story? Red Rum Finger. This case is just insane. It seems like a bunch of sociopaths. Starting at March, these dumbass adults think that being in their mama's house is going to keep them from getting in trouble somehow. I'm really curious though. Was Neo hiding under his mom's bed? Maybe someone will leave a comment and clarify. Neo was not hiding under his mom's bed. He was in the bathroom. Maybe it was Neo on his mom's account. It's all around so strange to get any feedback with such straightforward responses. Yeah, Miss Francesca, you know what? That's what I was saying, right? Like who from his camp would want to reach out to my itty bitty channel and leave a comment, right? And shout out to Mark for that $2 super chat. Thank you so much. Said justice for Celeste, Rivas, Abigail, Hernandez. Absolutely. Yeah, man. Shout out to Mark the Shark, man. He's doing a lot of work too, and he's also boots on the ground in this case. So, you guys should definitely check him out too, because he is another person making sure that we keep Celeste Rivas Hernandez's name alive. Military Moss said, or he went to mom's house because David didn't have the mansion anymore, so his meal ticket was no more. Could be, right? David is guilty said, in my personal opinion, I do not think it's Rob or Asia. I still think it's Neo. If not David, but it's still saying Neo. If I'm wrong, I'll publicly apologize to him. Are you going to change your name too? No, you can't, because you said even if you were going to keep your name like that. Hey, we got to, right? We're not going to stop. We're not going to stop until we get justice for her. There's absolutely no way that we're going to stop. And you know what, Mark? We've been covering this story since the beginning, right? And I followed in your footsteps to talk about this case. And I find it funny because now the eyes are on our videos. People are not even just new people who are subscribing to the channels, but now people that are related to this case are watching these stories because they know that we're going to do whatever we can to make sure that we keep Celeste's name alive until we get justice for her. David said, no, I'll apologize to Neo, not David. Thanks, this case is insane. Nothing is off the table. I agree. Nothing is off the table. DJ See No Evil in the house. How is it going, DJ C No Evil? We appreciate you being here with us. All right, you guys, I'm gonna be back really quick. Let me get some water because it is super hot in my room right now. Give me a second, I'll be back. Make sure that you guys continue to chat in the comments. Y'all are keeping this live right now, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. It's weird, right, Mark, that they're commenting on the videos, right? Let me just get some water and we'll come back and we'll touch base on that too. So give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Oops. All right, y'all, I'm back. I didn't get water. I got a Coke Zero because Mark is always talking about Coke Zeros, so I buy them too. Yeah, let me make sure we show love to the channel. Hold on 1 second. How many of you guys are new to the channel? If you're new to the channel, let me know in the comments. Hold on. Why can't I? What the heck's going on here? Hold on. Gold Digger, how's it going? How's it going? Tara Jackson's new Art Deco. I am. I think Neo was an accomplice, but think on it. Who has the most to lose? David and Rob? Maybe Asia? You're new here. Thank you for hanging out, you guys. This is weird. Hold on 1 second. I can't even. This is not even letting me open a new tab. What are they doing? Okay, hold on 1 second, y'all. Let me. All right. All right, you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and drop Mark's channel in the comments. Make sure you guys give him a follow and check out the deep dives that he does as well. Just did a deep dive on Zerks. His last video that he just streamed about today was a response from Zerks. He tried to get Zerks on the show, and Zerks got scared. He didn't want to do it. I don't have the answers to it, but Mark has the answers to it. So make sure you go check out his video, you guys. Okay, thank you for giving me your name because I can't pronounce your username. Michelle, thank you. I'll remember that. Michelle, thank you so much. This chat's got fantastic flow. Thank you so much for being fresh on this. They're snapping off some serious insight. Look at Steve Fisher's post on October 9th. Let's do it. Let's take a look. We're right here anyways, right? All right. I hope this statement is true. Oh, hold on. I'm not sharing it. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. Let me just... Let me move this down. All right, you guys. So it says, I hope this statement is true. It would be nice for someone to finally talk. Someone that is close to some of the people being mentioned publicly, right? If I ask a question, I would ask him if he's ever driven that Tesla in the couple of months before it was towed. It's just a question, not an accusation. Just got an email right now. Let me see. I'll read this really quick. Okay. So it said, I mean, yeah, eventually I'm gonna say something, but I kind of hate forcing myself into solitude because people on the internet assume the worst in people and will make up legit anything out of nothing. So eventually I'll say something when I'm ready to. Love all the real people that have been kind to me and don't make false assumptions. Whew. Nah, well, look, there's very few of us who continue to keep her name alive and continue to bring light and shine light on this situation, right? We got to continue to talk about it, right? And the more that we talk about it, the more people we're going to attract, more new people, more supporters, that are really gonna be reminded of some of the things that they may have forgotten about this case. We're not gonna sleep, you guys. We've already reached some personal people in this case, so obviously they're listening. They're listening to what we're gonna say, and they're probably surprised with what we're gonna find. David is guilty said, so that's twice Steve mentions Neo in connection to the Tesla. The interview with Jesse was October 17th. 5 days after that was it Neo post? It's a good point, right? So thank you for clearing up that timeline. Yeah, so I don't know. What do you guys think? All right, here. I'm going to put up a poll right now. And I want you guys to answer that question. Who moved the Tesla? Let's see. Because I really want to know who you guys think it was. And we're going to put up that poll right now. The poll is live. I want you guys to let me know who you guys believe moved that Tesla. Now, hopefully, with this, maybe it'll, and I'm not here to force anybody to do anything, but I'm hoping that, somebody is claiming that Neo didn't move the Tesla. Steve Fisher says he knows who moved the Tesla. Hopefully this will bring us closer to finally learning who actually moved the Tesla. Let's see. So far right now, with 25 votes, we have Neo in the lead at 69%. Make sure you guys are continuing so nobody thinks it's Asia. What if it is? Cindy from sunny South Florida is in the house. Welcome. Art Deco Rose said, why are there always a certain amount of people who won't hit the like button? That's a great question. I want to know too. Let me look. Only 73 likes, and we have, it says right here, 117 people watching. So do me a favor, y'all. Hit the like button. I said I was only going to ask that once. I lied. My bad. I asked again. So do me a favor, hit the like button. I'm going to tell you what every creator says, right? It just helps us get this video out into the algorithm. And I just recently learned too that my videos have the ability to hype. So after this video is done, please make sure you hype the video so we can push it out there. Hopefully it'll help, gain our channel a little bit of exposure. Norma RN, 30 years, is in the house. She voted for Neo. DJ See No Evil said, I am going to start a rumor. David is guilty, weirdo. David is a guilty weirdo. Is that a rumor? Need an option for none of them. Ooh. So Chloe, if it wasn't any of the four, who do you think actually moved it then? I'm very curious what your take is. Did Steve Fisher say he saw who drove the Tesla and where it was parked? Here, let's go back and listen to this. Let's listen really close to what Steve Fisher has to say.
That moved the Tesla.
So who had that key is evidence that while David was on tour at the time between the Tesla being found and the search warrant being served, David was on tour, but somebody was in that house. And there was actually a report made, not with police, but that homeowner association has a robust private security company. And we've gotten videos from them and reports. And so who had that key is probably the same person that, had access to the Tesla.
Do you know who that person is, and do you believe that is the person that moved the Tesla?
So listen.
So I definitely know who moved that Tesla. And that.
He said what?
So I believe I definitely know who moved that Tesla. And that.
So he knows who moved the Tesla, right? That was my chair creaking. Okay, I didn't fart. And I've reached out, right? And you've heard me mention this before in the past, that I've got in contact with a homeowner, and I asked them, because it was mentioned in a Nancy Grace episode that he can't release the information because he doesn't have permission from the homeowner, right? Due to his client relationship that he has, he cannot release it. But the homeowner said that this information will come out when it can. That is confirmed from the homeowner. So I believe the homeowner, right? That information will come out when it can. But when is that? I have no idea. Close said, I don't have a solid idea about who, but I feel strongly that it is no one closely involved with knowledge. David and his friends aren't very smart, but even they know cameras be everywhere. Good point, right? A true fact. Is it free to smash that like button? Don't be shy, says DJ See No Evil. And I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. All right, let's see what the poll shows us. We got 43 votes. There's a lot of y'all in the chat that are just not participating. What's up with that? Drop a 1 in the chat if you've been lurking this entire time and you haven't said a single thing in the chat. Somebody also made a comment the other day in the chat, and they said that they probably just took Neo in to get DNA evidence and fingerprints. That was really made me think. Oh, and thank you, Jad. If you guys enjoy the stream and the content that we do put out, we do have a few different ways that you guys can support the channel. My mod just dropped the link for our Venmo and our Cash App. If you guys ever feel the need or want to support our channel, the link is right there. Let me put that. Let me pin this. I don't think I've ever pinned a comment before. How do I do this? Boom. Let me go ahead and end that poll. Okay, so with 16%, you guys said David moved the Tesla. Asia was at 2%, Rob at 31%, and Neo at 51% at who moved the Tesla. Wow. So Neo is still the person that is in the lead. I don't know. I was so dead set on it being Neo, but that comment really changed my perspective on things. And look, if that person who left the comment was anybody that was closely has ties with Neo, and if you ever want to come on the show and have a talk about it, right, you are more than welcome to clear the air. Obviously this is an active investigation, but if you want, my channel is always open for that. I know my crowd would, my audience would be super kind to you guys in the comment section, right? They would be super kind. They would not say a single bad thing about you guys or to you guys. So yeah, if you want, the floor is open, I would definitely invite anybody who wants to speak up about this case or speak on the case. Tara Jackson said that she'll be nice. I appreciate that, Wicked Witch. Send me an email though. Oh, actually, I received an email earlier. Let me take a look at this really quick. Okay, so let me read this email real quick. So David took a selfie on January 3rd on his TikTok. The song attached to it is called, we have attached pictures of the translation. Oh yeah, we've definitely gone over the lyrics from the David Extra. Thank you for this email, Tammy. I appreciate this. We'll circle back around this too, because this is another topic. Mark, shout out to you for that $2 super chat. For what is it? Oh, for Mama Flo. Okay, Mama Flo's getting donations now. Thank you. If you guys want to support our mods too, we do have a link for Buy Me a Coffee. My mod, if you can drop that in the chat, I'd appreciate that. Darcy said that I will be very nice also. Military Mod said I could try to be nice. Valerie said I think it's David's alter ego. I just want to know who moved the Tesla, but SF will let us know when he lets us know. David is guilty said it's important to make sure pics are not AI too. It's funny that you say that, because there are so many photos that are shared in this case that are AI that Nancy Grace, Steve Weber, and Ashley Banfield still share. Trying to see if we can find one in here. This one is real. This one was shared as a story on David's. Gold Digger said, not sure, but who else has the ability to move David's car and be in the mansion? Who has that type of inner reach? Also not a person that was on that tour bus? I'm a granny and we are known to be grumpy. Like Nancy Grouch. I refuse to believe that, David. You're telling me that your profile picture is not a real picture of David in an orange jumpsuit? Or is that forecasting? Look, again, at the end of the day, David has not been arrested, nor has he been named a suspect. And at this point right now, nobody is being labeled as a suspect. David is, however, being viewed as one. I don't know if that makes a difference, right? And everybody's innocent until proven guilty here, right? Yes, we may talk about our opinions, our views, and what we think may have happened, but obviously, I don't know if I can say your name, but we just received a Venmo donation. Thank you. If you're okay with me saying it. And Tara Jackson just gifted 1 membership. Norma Guerra just received a membership from Tara Jackson. Oh, cool. Stop lying. Lying about what? What am I lying about? Shoot. We're forecasting. Hopefully we just find answers soon, right? All we want, right, Mark? EA Norma became a member of the inner circle. I just can't wait till we hear this, right?
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
You're definitely going to hear me play that the day that someone is arrested.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
And if you're okay with me mentioning who it was that gave the Venmo donation, let me know in the chat, so then that way I can thank you on our stream. That was really, really nice of you. And if you guys do want to support the channel, again, we have a few different ways that you can support. We have a link to buy me a coffee. We have Venmo, we have a Cash app, and then you guys can also do super chats and super stickers, right? You don't have to. I'm just saying that there are multiple different avenues to support the channel if you care to support it. If not, your presence here on this channel is much appreciated. Anyways, any other questions? Anything you guys want to talk about? Did you research that video I sent? hold on. Let me go back and take a look at it because I think we've talked about it before, Military Ma. Hold on. Where is it? Here it is. Yes. So Military Ma, I have to rewatch that video again because I've seen it, but the only thing is with this channel is I'm just not a fan of all the explicit language. Great content though, but I can't do all the explicit language. Miss Francesca is okay. Well, thank you for your donation. If that was you giving me permission to thank you publicly, thank you so much. DJ See No Evil says my phone is limited as it's made for the blind or would love to support. DJ See No Evil, your presence is more than enough, right? And I appreciate you participating, right, in our chat. So thank you. That's more than enough, right? You guys just leaving messages in the chat and just keeping it active helps me, get it out into the algorithm. So I appreciate that.
Had another place she was staying. I can tell you that there was a lot of time spent towards downtown.
And where is this third location? They keep talking about this third location. Where is it? Ooh. Was that question for me, Mark? You know what? Yes. Yes, I do. I think it is. I had a video too. Hold on. Let me see if I have that video. Where is it? Here. So let me see if I can play it here.
David.
Okay, so this is the reason why I believe that David may possibly be behind the Atami archive, right? And then let me just make sure that I pull up something else too. Oh, hold on one second, you guys. LA Magazine just posted a video about an hour ago. If you guys want to watch it, it's about 12 minutes long. Type a 1 in the chat. Hold on, let me see. All right, so here, let me play you this video right over here.
I got a question, bro.
Yeah.
Are you ever gonna drop Dancing Through the End of the World?
No.
Oh my god, bro. Oh my god.
Hey, look.
You're gonna make this man kill himself.
I'll do you a favor though.
GTA.
What about Drink and Drive? What about Drink and Drive? Drink and Drive.
He already said no.
No. I'll put on the archive.
Oh my.
So he said what? The song Drink and Drive.
Kill himself.
I'll do you a favor though.
GTA.
What about Drink and Drive? What about Drink and Drive? Drink and Drive.
He already said no.
No. I'll put on the archive.
So Drink and Drive is a song that he said that he would put it on the archives. Now, if you go here to the Atami archives and you go through the videos, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I knew I seen it somewhere. Don't tell me that he took it out. So whoever has access to this Atami archives is posting videos very often, and apparently these are unreleased tracks by David. Here's a song called Hit Me that was released or dropped 2 days ago, right? There's another song called 1000 Ways to Grieve. Surgical? Atami remastered, huh? Nomad, Hope You Remember Us, If Humans Could Fly, Hear Me Now. Halfway Across the World, Hideaway, Who Are You? You're Not Real, Unstable, Rendezvous, on and on. it's funny because the last time I came back to this, the song Drink and Drive was on here and it was posted like 2 days before. So now it's funny that this video is not on there after we talked about it. So look here. Mark, did you see this? This song says D4VD Rush featuring Xerx. And you just talked to him, right? Or you were just going back and forth with him. So I'm curious. He also has a song with him too? I'm curious about that song. Tara said, the fact that I know that the Tesla, you have cameras that record stuff, but somehow there's no information about that? Crazy, right? What's up, Kevin? Welcome. Why don't we have more info on the second apartment? You know, we were just talking about that in the last live. I want to know why law enforcement, SF Investigates, TMZ, nobody is talking about the second property. And when I'm talking about the second property, I'm actually talking about the very first property that David had in West Hollywood, which is the 804 property, right? Because we know that the mansion was the 1368 property. But for some reason, SF Investigates refuses to talk about it. Let me see. Hold on. Let me see. It doesn't show it here. It's funny though, because even SF Investigates kind of acknowledges it, but in the tweet that he has, he actually called it the 408 property, which is totally like backwards. So I was just curious why nobody talks about it. But we're going to go ahead and play that video from LA Magazine, and then we're going to call it a night after that. This was just released about an hour ago, and it says that David and Celeste, secrets inside David's Tesla. So what is it that they're talking about? Let's listen.
We need to talk about David's Tesla, the very Tesla where 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, her body was found September 8th in the frunk of the Tesla. Sorry, I hate using that word, but allegedly she was not only decomposed, and excuse me for just speaking so bluntly, but she was also allegedly dismembered
This
as well.
is facts.
And I have learned that this Tesla was reportedly only with the LAPD in evidence for 48 hours before it was released. That is concerning, and I'm going to share why, as well as some other things that I recently learned. But I mean, I'm just thinking about this, and no one has been charged in connection with the death of poor Celeste. So this is not a perfectly accurate comparison, but Karen Reed, she was accused of hitting her boyfriend, John O'Keefe, police officer John O'Keefe, with her car, killing him in 2022. She was eventually charged with murder to manslaughter, but her car was taken away, impounded, let's say, by the Massachusetts State Police, and she never got it back. Literally, she never got it back, and it
DJ See No Evil, it's funny that you say that, because that's what I was thinking after we found out that David may potentially be in LA. Maybe he's been at that 804 place this whole time.
Went to auction. And granted, she was eventually charged, but I'm just like, wait, there was literally the body of a little girl found in that car, and the police only held it for 48 hours. Okay, we're going to get into that in a minute. And I learned about this through Steve Fisher. He had obtained some paperwork having to do with the Tesla. And Steve Fisher, if you are not aware, he is a PI that is working on this case. He was hired by somebody connected, and that's pretty much out there. The homeowner who owned the home that David was staying in the Hollywood Hills, or David was renting, they hired Steve to look into this because, you know, their home was essentially at the center of this as well, because David lived there. And there were rumors that Celeste was there from time to time. So I think he did the right thing hiring Steve. Additionally, Steve, I believe, and Steve has not confirmed this, but I believe he also has testified in front of the grand jury that is convened.
Sorry, you guys. I don't mean to stop this in the middle, but I just wanted to let you guys know, right, that we do have a members only Discord where a lot of the times we have conversations about this before it even gets out to the internet. So if you guys want to be part of being filled in, right, we really fill in the gaps on the Discord too. So if you guys are members, I would consider joining the Discord, you guys, because it does go down in the Discord. The people in the Discord will know the scoop before it goes out to the internet. So consider becoming a member. We have very affordable tiers starting at 99 cents. So if you guys want, I'll post a Discord later after the show.
In this case, I'm almost certain of it. Even though Steve hasn't come right out and said it to us, I think a lot of us, just based on what we know, we can speculate that he also did that. But I want to just talk about the Tesla for a second, because many of us, when we first heard the news about this, we were like, okay, well, there are 9 cameras in a Tesla. So I feel like police should be able to pinpoint who was the last person who drove the car, possibly who was the last person that moved the car. I mean, they should have all of this information, based on these cameras. So I did some research about Teslas in general. And again, I didn't know a ton about them, but the Teslas do have a total of up to 9 cameras.
And just to address the comment that Mark made about the stickers on the spoiler, the cheap way of holding it together from a detailer on YouTube, he's talking about these things right over here, right? In some of the photos that we've seen when it was parked on Bluebird, you can see that the spoiler was taped up. And the reason why is because I guess whatever adhesive the spoilers are attached with, the adhesive kind of falls off or breaks apart, and then the spoilers split. But I think it's just a really poor way to manage your car, right? Why not replace it or get it fixed? But why put this ugly tape on it, right? David, a millionaire, right? He's got a lot of money. He was able to afford a Tesla, right? I'm curious, why put tape on it? Really didn't make any sense.
On these Model Ys, which is what David has, and it's
correction. He does not have a Model Y. He has a Model X. This is a 2023 model, Tesla Model X, so not a Model Y.
9 cameras on these Model Ys, which is what David has.
Model
and
X.
It's 8 on the outside and 1 camera on the inside. So I was thinking, okay, well, how long do these cameras store this footage? Is it possible that footage was already deleted? Is it possible that the owner can manually delete footage? I didn't know. So cameras on these Teslas while driving are always recording in a loop, but it only the most recent footage is stored. So when I say most recent, that means the system keeps roughly the last 45 to 60 minutes of footage looped in the storage. But the footage is automatically overwritten unless you save a clip manually by tapping something on the dash
Military
cam
Mod said we only need 24 more likes
whatever
to get this video to 100. Can we do that?
Instructs you to do on how to save it. So, if you get in an accident.
Ramona Light Healer 89. Thank you for your $5 super sticker with the ha 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 ha. The pair. Mark, we got to get you on these comments so they can show the sticker. We gotta get your highlights updated so you can see those stickers.
Or maybe someone hits you, you can go ahead and sort of save that right away in order to move forward with a potential case. So that right there, I'm like, okay, so things overwrite itself pretty much every hour unless you save it. So we'll just go ahead and assume that the inside dash cam footage is done. It's done. I mean, there was probably nothing there. At the time, I'm thinking, I don't think this person, the last person who drove the Tesla, would necessarily save it. But my guess is that didn't help police at all. So there's something called Sentry Mode. And when that is enabled, and that is while the Tesla is parked, the car watches for, quote, security events while parked, and it saves only clips if something triggers it. Meaning, like if someone leans on the car or touches it, or there's like suspicious movement that wouldn't normally happen while the car is parked. So the car still stores clips on the USB drive that you are given with this Tesla. It doesn't permanently store them on board. So I guess what I'm trying to say
Right,
is
9 cameras? Damn.
this USB, you can do what you want with it. You can delete the footage from the USB. You can keep it, but basically the USB drive is in your possession. I mean, I'm thinking that police did have some kind of subpoena for this USB drive. I mean, they had to have, I would think, or when they searched David's house, maybe they found this USB drive and they took it. But yeah, I feel like none of this is super helpful unless they have that. I mean, right? Like I just don't see at this point.
You think so, Darcy? You don't think they got Sentry Mode?
Sitting there for, I think, we don't know exactly, or maybe we do know exactly. It's been a minute, but I think maybe the car was sitting there for upwards of 8 weeks or so. So the footage that will be recorded on there would most likely be the most recent. So again, I just don't think, I don't think it would be super helpful. And also, I read that Tesla vehicles, they don't automatically upload all camera recordings to Tesla. Again, recordings are stored locally on your USB drive.
So I think when this case first broke out, one of the first things they talked about was the ability to obtain footage from the Tesla. And I think Tesla put out a statement that said that there is no cloud services, meaning that any of the videos that are recorded from your car are not stored with Tesla. They don't have a way to store all of your footage with them. It stores locally through your app and on your phone if you decide to keep it. If not, then the video is just gone. But again, I'm not a Tesla driver. I haven't seen that article or that statement. If you're a Tesla owner and you're in the chat, maybe you could kind of shed some light with what you know if you use Sentry Mode.
Drive, and they are not sent to Tesla unless you opt in to limited data sharing. So I don't know. I would think that David probably didn't do that, but of course I don't know for sure. I guess I'm just thinking it really sounds like, yeah, it's number one, the footage overwrites itself, especially inside, and then outside, it's only if you're saving this stuff to a USB, and then you have to literally give somebody access to this USB, and then they can look. So that was something that I was like, oh wow, that is a little bit concerning, and that's also why it's like, hey, we don't necessarily have all of the information. So that's another reason why this investigation is probably taking so long. But again, back to Steve. So Steve was able to obtain some information, and he tweeted out that basically David's Tesla, the vehicle in which Celeste was found, it was held by the LAPD for only 48 hours to process evidence. So after that, it was returned to the impound lot for David to retrieve, which is insane. That is insane to me. It's like, oh, right, okay, there is a body in your car, but we're gonna remove that. We're gonna check some things out, then we're gonna give it back to you. Really? I mean, is there something I don't know here? Because that doesn't sound great. But again, I don't pretend to know everything. So David, now I'm not saying he retrieved the Tesla, but he had not retrieved it until January 30th. That was 3 days ago. So the Tesla was actually scheduled to go to auction at 9 a.m. on January 31st. So Steve had planned to go and inspect it, but in the final hours before it went to auction, David or someone with, power of attorney acting on his behalf picked it up. And Steve said when he checked last week, the storage fees were around $10,000 as the vehicle had been, released and ready for pickup since September 10th, and no one had picked it up yet, which again is just.
So really quick, I was just looking this up, right? California law, it says the length of time police can hold your vehicle for investigation depends on the crime you're alleged to have been committed of. Typically, the police in California can hold a vehicle under investigation for 30 days. However, these times can be extended here, let me just share it with you guys so you guys can see it. However, it can be extended if it can be justified to hold it for longer. We'll explore the rules around. Okay, so what is a police hold on a vehicle? The vehicle was used in the commission of a crime. The vehicle contains evidence related to a crime. The vehicle itself is evidence in a criminal case. There can be reasons the police may tow your vehicle and hold it that aren't related directly to a crime. These include if you had abandoned your vehicle for a long time, it may get impounded to clear the road or lot. If you have unpaid fines or fees, they may impound your vehicle as a way to collect the debt. If the car is unsafe to operate. What factors affect the duration of a police hold? The severity of the crime being investigated, the complexity of the case, the amount of evidence that's needed to be processed, whether the police can get a warrant to extend the hold, whether the vehicle itself is considered evidence, and the progress of the overall investigation. That was a lot to read. So those are some of your answers. Let me see. Where's this video at now? Uh-oh, I just lost it. Where is it? Okay, here it is. Back to the video.
Crazy that they had let it sit there, accrue all these fees when they were, allowed to have it back, which again is so crazy. So Steve also mentioned that the car was released to a new individual who had picked it up, or maybe after this person picked it up on David's behalf. There was a transfer. So it was registered to a new individual. The ownership of the vehicle was transferred. And now this new person has this car, which again is just crazy to me. I mean, it's crazy. I want to just say that, this car is a $50,000 car. And David, as of 2025, he was worth $3 million.
A $50,000 car? Hold on. Is that what she said? The car is a $50,000 car.
I want to just say that, this car is a $50,000 car. And David, as of 2025, he was worth $3 million. This car is a $50,000 car.
Okay, so originally, if I'm not mistaken, what I saw was the car was purchased for $54,000, right? I think, Mark, I think it might have been in your live where you showed the cost of that car, or the purchase cost was $54. I know that when he bought this car back in either late 2023 or early 2024, he paid $108,000. So that means this car has depreciated by a total of 50% in about 3 years. That is crazy.
And David, as of 2025, he was worth $3 million. He doesn't seem like the type of person to just kind of throw away a vehicle like this. But yeah, I mean, it just makes me think, like, what was going on? What was the so-called plan here? I mean, you had to have known, and I'm guessing you had to have known.
Before I go help, welcome to the chat. How's it going?
Celeste was allegedly your friend, maybe more. I don't have, evidence of maybe more, but maybe. So she was your friend, and she was in pieces, deceased in your trunk. And I mean, and you were on tour. What was going on? What was somebody supposed to do something and they didn't do it? I mean, I don't even know, because why would it sit there for so long?
Well, I mean, that's something that SF Investigates alluded to, right? Was somebody supposed to carry out a task that they just bitched out for?
Why? I don't know. Again, more questions, but I just I wanted to put that out there for everybody so you can think on it as well. Because
Cindy
again,
Lean.
I'm still going through all of this in
How's
my
it going?
head, and it just, you know, it helped me to do the research on the Tesla. I will say that, to sort of sift through what these cameras do, you know, if they do keep footage on their own, which it doesn't sound great. So, I mean, it's just one more thing here. And then also one more thing that really is perplexing. 48 hours, and we're just going to return the car back to you, sir. No issues, no problem. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening and for watching. Like and subscribe here at Los Angeles Magazine. If you don't already, I'm Lauren Conlon. I do these podcasts pretty much daily on scandals and crime news, and we're happy to have you here. But man,
Right.
Justice for Celeste.
Yeah, if you guys want to get a Tesla, just get one that's 3 years old. You can get it for 50% off. That is crazy. So what are you guys' thoughts? I mean, I don't know if there was anything brand new that they let us know about this, about the Tesla. I feel like we've talked about most of this stuff before in the past. Yes, sir. Thank you, Mark. LS Den 66, do you have the link to the Discord? LS Den 66, yes, I do. However, it is a members only. So if you do want to consider becoming a member, I am going to post the link to the Discord on our community wall. Unfortunately, it is a place for our members where we do kind of continue the conversations outside of our YouTube lives. But it's a little incentive, right, for supporting the channel. But yeah, we do keep the Discord down to members only. So if you do want the Discord, please consider becoming a member to support the channel. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it. We'll check that out right now. So let me go ahead and save this message really quick. All right, let me pull this up. Shout out to Mark for sending us a photo. What did I save it as, though? Shit. Okay, let's see. Let's pull this up. Shout out to Mark the Shark for sending us this photo. It said right here, the price and the year dependence. So it started off in 2019 from 100,000, and then wait, how do you read this? Let me see. All right, let me show you this one right here. Let me show you this photo first. Okay, so this is a screenshot that Mark the Shark sent us right now, and it said that the average dealer forecast forecourt price is $54,000. Is basically what the car costs for that Model X. I need to rematch that about the Tesla depreciation because it was hard to read. The dates looked like they were backwards. It's actually going up in worth. Yeah. That's what it looked like. It looked like the cost was going up every year, right? Hold on, let me take off the comment. Thank you for that screenshot, Mark, though. Yeah, so it says below market cost for 2023 Model X is $48,000. That's below market. Average dealer cost would cost about $54,000, and then above market would be $60,000, which sounds, fairly accurate. But the car does lose its value. Damn, almost about 50%, right? B. Benwell said that there's nothing to talk about until we start getting word from the people involved because we're running on fumes. I mean, it's funny that you said that because the beginning of this whole entire show was basically about getting word from people that were involved in this case, right? And people that were involved in this case, it seems like to me, are now recognizing our channel and making comments on them, right? And we kind of talked about this earlier in the show. So, you know, we might be running on fumes, right? Or we may just be, you know, we might not be getting a lot of new stuff, but every day there's something new about this case. There's something new that happens in this case, right? And if you don't believe me, I mean, just look at the stuff that we're talking about. Mark the Shark was just in contact with Zerx. Zerx was the mod for David's channel on Discord. And so, I mean, that's he just talked about how much Zerx, you know, how much knowledge that he has about some of this stuff and that he hasn't gone and spoken to law enforcement. So that's pretty crazy. Yes, Miss Francesca, a membership here on the channel equals access to our Discord. Okay, so Mark did send us a few more things about the Tesla. I appreciate that, Mark. Thank you. Let me share some of this stuff. Let me see. I'm going to show you guys one of the photos. Hold on really quick. One of the photos, but I'm not going to show you the rest of them because Mark did a deep dive on the history of this Tesla the day that we found out that he talked about it. So I want you guys to go to his channel to check it out because he did an in-depth, thorough review of this. Tesla 1. Where's this at? Let me refresh this. Okay, so this is the history of the Model X right here. It said that the first owner, the estimated miles per year was 1,132, and the last odometer reading was 1,226. This was when it was purchased in 2024. It was in use for about a year and a month. Then there was a second owner. The last odometer reading was at 1226. And then it was purchased in 2025. And this car was only used for 11 months. Hey, shout out to Norma for becoming a member of the channel. Welcome to the inner circle, y'all. Make sure that after the show you check out the community post. I'll definitely post a link to the Discord on there. But we're gonna do it after the show, you guys. Miss Francesca, I appreciate that, you know. Yeah, we Mark and I focus on this case, you know, and there's just so many cases to focus on. And, you know, just like Mark and I, we spend a lot of time reviewing this case, making sure that we keep her name alive. And we do it because we want to make sure that the people who are responsible for this get held accountable, right? And the only way that we're going to be able to do that is to continue to talk about it. Definitely. I don't think there's another channel besides Mark's, right, on this platform that go as deep as we do. It goes down on Mark's channel, it goes down on my channel, and it also goes down on the Discord, right? I'm going to tell you, right? Sometimes we do like 6-hour voice chats on the Discord where we deep dive on this case. So if you really want to know about it, you can ask some of the people who are already members where it goes down. I'm not telling you guys have to become a member, right? But if you guys want to know some of the stuff before it hits the internet, that's where it's going to go down. So if you guys want to, consider becoming a member of the Inner Circle. Cindy Lean, thank you so much. You guys have been the ones to watch since the beginning. Yeah, thank you. And then shout out to the people on Reddit because I noticed that people have been shouting out our channels on there. So thank you to the random people of Reddit who have just shouted us out too. So I appreciate that. But anyways, let me make sure that I put. I'm gonna shout out Mark's channel in the chat. Make sure you give him a follow. Definitely make sure you stop by, check out the deep dives that he does. Mark is actually also hiking boots on the ground, so you'll make sure that you'll see him at every single location that has been talked about in this case. Mark has gone and visited, right? Whether it's the Millard Canyon Falls, Celeste Memorial, where she was buried. Let me see, where else have you gone? The actual 1368 place, the parking lot where David was seen exchanging money. Dang, where else have you gone? Where else? Today I uncovered his net 3 mil nominal for his spending. Like you don't rent a house, formerly the domain of Halle Berry. He's tapped out and losing oxygen, robbed by the mess he cut. Yep, absolutely. The cemetery, the memorial, downtown LA, right? Both of us have gone and visited, what's it called? The Baldwin Hills Scenic Overlook, the place where Celeste was mentioned to have taken her last photo, or wherever her last proof of life was at. So definitely go check them out. But anyways, you guys, that's going to be enough for tonight. I totally forgot I am launching our program tomorrow for I wrote a curriculum this past couple of weeks, and so we are launching our program for the first time tomorrow. And so I got to teach it, and I got to make some last final edits on this curriculum before we teach it tomorrow morning. So that's going to be it for me tonight. I will see you guys again. If you guys want to hit the Discord, make sure you guys join the inner circle, become a member. Tiers start at 99 cents, so it's very, very, very affordable. Anyways, before I go, I just want to give a shout out to my grandmother who just celebrated her 100th birthday today. We had my entire family flew in from all over the place. My grandma just turned 100, so everybody just give her a birthday shout out down in the comments. I appreciate it, you guys. That's going to be it. I'm FloJo. Thank you for tuning in to Filling in the Gaps, and we'll see you guys later. Peace. Let me hit the outro.